Finch stood frozen in his doorway, staring at the 5 young women who had materialized on his porch like fragments of a half-forgotten dream. They were ethereal, otherworldly, with eyes that shimmered between human brown and reptilian gold. The tallest one stepped forward, her silver hair cascading down her shoulders like liquid moonlight. "Finch, Sterling?" she asked, her voice carrying an accent he couldn't quite place, something ancient and melodic. "Who's asking?" Finch's hand instinctively moved toward the baseball bat he kept near the door. 5 years as a security consultant had taught him to be cautious, but nothing in his training had prepared him for this. "We are the daughters of Frozen, Queen of the Northern Skies," the silver-haired woman said, "and our mother is in grave danger. You are the only human who can help us." The name hit him like a physical blow. Frozen, he hadn't heard that name spoken aloud in 15 years. Not since that impossible night in the mountains of Nepal. He had been a young, reckless adventure photographer then, climbing forbidden peaks in search of the perfect shot. He'd gotten lost in a blizzard and stumbled into a cave and into her dot. She had been magnificent, over 8 feet tall, with skin that seemed to shift between human flesh and iridescent scales. Her eyes were golden, wise, and infinitely sad. She had saved his life that night, sharing the warmth of her fire and the shelter of her sanctuary. They had talked until dawn, and in those hours, Finch had learned that dragons were real, not mindless beasts, but an ancient race with their own kingdoms, politics, and tragedies. Frozen had been exiled from her people, she'd told him, for refusing an arranged marriage to a cruel prince named Vor. She had fled to the human world, hiding in the high peaks where her kind could still touch the sky. When morning came, she had asked him never to speak of what he'd seen. He had agreed, thinking he'd never see her again. "Please," another of the daughters said. This one with copper-red hair and freckles that glowed faintly in the afternoon sun. "We wouldn't have come if the situation weren't desperate. The usurper has found her." Finch stepped aside, his mind racing. "Come in, tell me everything." The 5 women entered his modest apartment, and as they moved, he caught glimpses of their true nature, flash of wings that vanished like smoke, claws that retracted into delicate fingers, tails that flickered in and out of existence. They arranged themselves in his living room with an odd formality, like diplomats at a summit. The silver-haired one spoke first. "I am Zyra, eldest daughter. These are my sisters, Ember, Crystallis, Tempest, and Little Spark." She gestured to each in turn. The copper-haired one, a blue-tinged beauty, a grayed warrior, and a petite girl who couldn't have been more than 16 in human years. "Mother spoke of you often," Zyra continued. "She said you were kind, honorable, but you kept her secret even though revealing it could have made you famous. She followed your life from afar, proud of the man you became." Finch felt his throat tighten. "I never forgot her either. But I don't understand. Frozen said she was alone. After you parted, she found sanctuary in the crystalline depths. A hidden dragon realm between dimensions," Ember explained. "There she built a new life. She didn't marry, but she is a queen. Queens of our kind can create life from their own essence when their loneliness becomes too great. We are born of her dreams, her hopes, her memories of kindness." She paused meaningfully. "Some of us carry echoes of that night she met you." Finch looked at them with new eyes and saw traces of his own features mixed with Frozen's majesty. Zyra's nose, Spark's smile, the shape of Tempest's jaw. His legs nearly gave out beneath him. "We didn't come to complicate your life with revelations," Crystallis said, her voice cool and practical. "We came because Vorthrax has found the crystalline depths. He has launched an assault with an army of corrupted dragons. Mother is holding the gateway, but she cannot stand forever. She needs the Heartstone, a gem she entrusted to you that night, though you may not have realized its significance." Finch's mind flashed back 15 years. As he'd left the cave, Frozen had pressed something into his palm, a small, warm stone that pulsed with inner light. He'd kept it all these years, a memento he'd never quite understood. It sat even now on his nightstand. "The stone can seal the gateway permanently," Tempest said, her warrior's voice urgent, "but it can only be activated by someone who carries both human courage and dragon essence, someone who exists between worlds. Our mother chose wisely when she saved you that night," Spark added, her young voice tinged with admiration. "You carry dragon essence now, absorbed from her fire and her magic. And we," she gestured to her sisters, "we carry yours. Together we can close the gateway, but we must hurry." Finch stood and walked to his bedroom, retrieving the stone. It felt warmer than usual in his palm, almost as if it recognized the presence of Frozen's daughters. He returned to find all 5 watching him with a mixture of hope and desperation. "How do we get to the crystalline depths?" he asked. Zyra smiled a fierce, dragon smile full of fangs and fire. We fly. What happened next would live in Finch's memory forever. The 5 daughters revealed their true forms in a cascade of transformation, beautiful, terrible, magnificent dragons of silver, copper, sapphire, storm gray, and ruby red. They merged their magic, creating a portal of shimmering light in the center of his living room. Through here, Zyra's voice echoed, now deeper and more resonant. To save our mother, to save our queen. Finch clutched the heartstone and stepped forward. 15 years ago, a dragon woman had saved his life. Today he would return the favor and, perhaps, discover that the family he'd never thought he'd have had been waiting for him all along. In a realm between worlds where humans and dragons could exist as one. As he crossed the threshold, he heard the distant roar of battle and felt Frozen's presence calling to him across dimensions. He was coming, they all were, and Vorthrax the usurper would learn that a mother's love and a father's courage were forces no darkness could overcome. The adventure had only just begun.